Coming back to our true nature, our true self, our passion, meant, moving through the old self that the world said, oh, this is how, this is who, this is what you need to be, do, have. And it's like breaking through that.
Yeah.
Hey, Kate.
Hi, Nikki. Good morning.
Hi. I'm gonna put my camera on. I'm heading to a soccer game now, and a full car full of young, handsome boys.
Oh, awesome.
I won't be able to attend because it's going to be a little rowdy in the car. But I just wanted to say good morning and see you later.
Okay.
Bye for now.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Good morning, Nikki.
Mhm.
That was cool.
That was cool. She's in good spirits this morning too. That's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just sending joy, safety, health, learning, living life, Get her easily put her camera on.
Yep.
That's what I acknowledge. We have so many layers around us, man, that we've put up, put there, cemented in, locked in, the truth, the heart, the passion that we explored as children.
Yeah, exactly.
It's really the emotions that were with those experiences that we hid and locked away and said we can never come back to you. I don't want to feel you. I don't want to experience you. I can't experience you. Man, does that cause so much turmoil through our lives. It just wears us out. But that energy of our passion, of our purpose, that does not wear out. And it's always just right below the surface. We just don't know what it is. Until, like
an
you
itch you can't
said,
scratch.
that's right. Like until you said, until we start sitting in it and until we start exploring it, until we start asking and allowing it, and then new comes, and then new comes, and then new. And you'll just be sitting there, and then that memory, something will come back to it. That passion, that purpose, that vision will be there. And you're like, oh, yeah, there it is. I wonder why I just got that now. But it's like, yes, it doesn't matter. It does, because it's a reminder. We don't know what it means or how to put it together because it's just a metaphor. It's ours to make and bring into the world, to give life to.
For me, it's also major realizations around who I really am.
Yes.
Who I've always been,
Mm.
but kind of lost track of that.
Isn't it so cool?
Yeah, and what's been veiled over is coming to light.
Whoever gave us the idea that we'd have one moment of that and our whole life would change. And then we think of it a certain way, like the movies, At least that's how I made it to be. Pushing it or pulling it or forcing it, rather just allowing it, letting it unfold like a flower. You can't rush it.
I think it has something to do with not seeing that modeled.
In others, you mean?
Yeah, well, in anyone.
Yeah.
So it's like the possibility is never presented in the environment.
Yeah. I was thinking demonstrated, like
Yeah.
nurtured in the family that way, because our structures were work hard, my structure, work hard to get a job, those things, provide. Which it all can be. It can work that way.
I've been pondering the last few weeks about how to bring this work to large groups of people. And demonstration is definitely part of that.
Mhm.
But the whole thing has to be experiential. Like if it's not,
Yeah, that's
if it's not something that you can practice being,
mhm.
then it's not really going to be that effective, you know.
Mhm. So I think it's a dance, between the information and the experience, information, experience. So experience, oh, here's the discussion about it. That just solidifies it, makes it go deeper.
Yeah. It can, but it can also obscure everything too. It's such a temptation to try to explain it.
Mhm.
That's where the demonstration comes in.
Mhm. And I think like when people can explain from their perspective, their experience of it, helps that whole group experience. It adds to that moment. It adds energy to that moment. That's more around what I was thinking rather than just, one person talking the whole time, which is what we're used to.
Yeah. Yeah.
What book was I reading? Dang, that whole thing just came to mind. I think it was Fritz's book. In creating. He did things like that where they didn't talk very often, big groups, right? And gave everyone an equal platform to just experience. He ran large groups like that. Yeah, it says it's Fritz. And they sat in silence for the majority of the time. I think it's very helpful because it's any place that we can be where we're practicing not judging other people.
Yeah.
That's 51% of the battle right there.
Yeah. 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 Yeah, because I've come to realize that everyone experiences differently.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's a very unique blueprint that each of us has.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. And overlays, yeah, there's like places on the edges that they overlay. Yeah,
Yeah.
oh, I got it. Like there's a commonality to it, yeah. We all have significant moments in our life, right? That resurface again and again and again. And it's telling us something.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or wanting to tell us something.
The commonality is this dysfunction.
Mm.
The commonality is that all of us have been forced to experience things the same way.
Mhm.
Like schooling is a really good example of that.
Mhm. And how
We go through
excluding
12 years of public school, right? And it's
Mhm.
all, they try to make it uniform for everyone, a uniform experience.
Yep. And it's only, I mean, it's set up for the rational, logical brain to work. And if you
Yeah.
don't fit in that, you are going to struggle. I mean, it's like the engineer and the artist, right? It's who it's designed for. Is the engineer.
Yeah.
And you're tough luck if you're going to be the creative artist.
Well, and tough luck if you're going to be the creative engineer.
Mm-hmm. Ain't that the truth?
But that's the common thread.
You speak to that, that's the common thread, just to add a little color to it.
Well, the idea that we could actually be unique has been removed from the picture. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Fear of being unique because you can't fit in, you can't belong. Oh, man. That's forced socialization. Oh, my. You feeling this, Jesse?
Yeah. Seeing it too, you know. Conforming.
Yeah, the microcosm of that is was Nazism. It's like we have this super race of uniformity. Blonde hair, blue eyes. We're frightened by diversity. Frightened by randomness.
Like different.
Yeah,
You
frightened by difference. Yeah.
I could imagine that we wiped out a bunch of different things along the way.
Yeah.
That is what would happen.
Yeah. And the doctrine is survival of the fittest. Dominate and eliminate.
Yeah.
Divide and
Call it-
conquer.
Call it history.
Wow. A fear of openness keeps you from creativity? So we label things as creativity that really aren't. Counterfeit creativity.
Controlled creativity.
Yeah.
That's been the beauty of the internet.
What's that?
It's from the controlled creativity to get messages out. Yeah. Allowing communication, you can't control it at that point, right? It's a freedom of information, the movement of information. And it
Yeah.
reminds me, what's the first thing to go in a authoritative transition? The arts.
Yeah. What fueled the American Revolution? Printed word. The do-good letters. Ben Franklin. Don't tread on me.
You know, it's all through history. One story. I always find that amazing. It's just one story, huh? One side of the story. Always the winning side.
Wow, there's a lot coming in right now. Oh my goodness. The internet appears to be freedom of speech, but there's algorithms now that are in control of that.
And just like anything, once something's around long enough, right, you can corner it.
Yeah, yeah.
And then a habit or appear to be free choice, right?
Yeah, yeah, and it's not really.
And I think, heard stories, right, around that you can write it and say it in such a way that it says one thing and means completely something else too. I don't know which parts, but they said there's parts of the Bible that were more like that, right? Where it would appear to be towards the king, stroking their ego, yet it was information for the people.
Mhm.
So it's always.
Yeah. The meaning's never in the words anyway. The meaning's always in the interpretation.
Mm-hmm.
And that's another thing that's unique.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the church is tried to make the interpretation uniform. On the assumption that people are uniform. That uniformity is just another form of control. On the other side of the spectrum, you get something like the internet where input is coming in from all over the place and it seems to be free. But what makes it not free is too much.
Or everything.
Overwhelm.
Mm-hmm.
Overload.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Doubling
That's what's-
down on what
Yeah.
was right for them, right?
Yeah. That's what's interesting about what's happening with me and all these downloads right now. That somehow I've developed a capacity to just absorb it and sit with it. Instead of thinking it through, right? Instead of thinking anything through, just kind of letting it synthesize on its own, sort of.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
like a flower, like a seed would.
Yeah.
The seed, and it gets water, nutrients, and grows. And that was there was a moment in our conversation when I said to myself, what would I do with that? And
Yeah.
it caught me on the do, and it said, no, you just be with that. Oh,
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like, yeah, good. Just noticing my pattern, right? It's my starting position is, what do I want to do with it?
Yeah. 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 That was big for you. That was really big for you.
And it's still a pattern that showed up in our conversation today,
Mhm. Yeah.
which is why I didn't ask the question, which is why I didn't put it out there. Oh, yeah, just be with it.
Because you know better.
Yeah. And still doesn't change that the pattern is there,
Yeah. Yeah.
but it does change it after I acknowledge, recognize it, move through it. It's just like, oh, there's another one.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you can choose to engage with that pattern or not.
Mhm. Every pattern we can.
Yeah.
Except for breathing. Well, breathing, that's kind of that's the last of them.
Some of these patterns can be really useful at times.
Yeah. But until the human expresses their uniqueness, there will never be equality.
Yeah.
Peace.
What's interesting is e pluribus unum. Like it's even written on the dollar bill. And it loosely means unity in diversity.
Mm.
Those guys were about 250 years ahead of their time with a lot of this stuff, but they planted some good seeds.
Mm-hmm.
That all men are created equal. And e pluribus unum.
We the people.
We the people. Yeah. 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 But all that really got confronted with the juggernaut that's been entrenched in society.
Expand that
Control by
further.
uniformity and, different things like that.
Standardizations.
Yep. Standardizations.
Hierarchy.
Yep.
Both spoken and unspoken.
Yep. Colonialism.
Yeah.
Owning property.
Mhm.
There's still jurisdictions in this country where wives are considered property.
I know we add a whole lot of bills and we don't take away many.
Well, yeah, that's one of the biggest problems with government.
I think certain places you can still get a speeding ticket for your horse.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah, and despite there being new laws, if you've got even judges that want to disregard them, then yeah. Wow.
Yeah, well, we're seeing that.
Yeah, justice is a really good idea, but it seems to have been lost.
Hmm.
Your government is falling apart, so you blame the neighbors. Your marriage is falling apart, so you blame the neighbors.
Or compared to the neighbors.
Yeah.
I tell you, man. Oof. There's about half good information out there that people are trying to help with, and they're missing completely the other half of structure.
Well, yeah, there you go. Yeah, the foundational part.
Where's my focus part?
Yeah.
What's the focus of my pattern? The best I can hear and see is time and space. That's the simplest I can make it. 99% of our focus is on the past. And that 99% is negative. And we wonder why it's not getting any better.
Oh, and consider you get what you focus on. If you're focused on the past, it's bound to repeat itself.
That's how I know people are in it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because it's the same story over. It's the same story every time. The same story every time. And still asking the same question, why doesn't it get better? That is the 1%. That is the 1% that they start looking to the future when they ask that question. Everyone asks it, why doesn't it get better?
Hmm. How could it?
Well, that's the one that now when you ask that question, it opens the space, yeah.
Mhm.
But those that are in the position to be helping people don't ask that question. See, that's the half of structure that's missing.
Yeah.
The magical word of could, imagine that you could have that in the future. Oh no, God, no. Oh, I can't go there. Right. What do you want? Oh, I can't have, oh, I don't know. Ooh, Jesus, that scares this bejesus out of me. Yeah, that's why. The structure, we see this, that is why it keeps replaying Groundhog's Day every fucking day. Because that's where our focus is. That's what we're thinking about. That's what we're stewing in. That's where all of our emotions in life are tied up in yesterday.
Mhm.
And our quote unquote professionals, allow it. Encourage it, and they talk all about how they got to overcame it, right? And they really didn't overcome it either.
No. But the
they're gonna
pictures painted that way.
exactly, and it's structured that way, and that's how they
All we
make
did
their
is-
living. Yeah.
All we did is rearrange the furniture.
Exactly. And painted the pig, put lipstick on the pig, right?
Mhm.
And then it's like, well, we could, like, let's go for let's focus into the future. Oh no, we can't. That doesn't feel right, because it's different. It's new.
Because it's like,
It's like, how else are we going to? Oh, and then if any soon as we do that, we're going to worry, which means we're going to, whatever happened in the past is going to happen again in the future. So I'm going to worry about it that it hasn't even happened yet. Worrying about something that hasn't happened yet, well, what is that going to do? It will create that worry.
Yeah, yeah. It
It's
conjures up
gonna,
exactly the same feelings as
it,
that you've been having all along.
it's gonna produce the same damn thing.
Same result.
If
Yep.
that is not crazy, yet we want to say anyone that has something new is crazy.
But the thing is, everybody's doing that. Jesse.
I know, Craig.
Like you just described Tony Robbins putting new lipstick on the pig.
Well, if you're making it money wise, who's going to change their story?
Oh, they're not,
Exactly.
because there's success tied to it, right?
Oh, well, there's identity that you bet your ass there is, man. And this is all that I can't change my story now. I'd be a hypocrite.
Yeah, and everybody might want their money back.
And that wouldn't turn out very well, would it?
No. No, it wouldn't.
Until I get enough of it, and then I'll give it back.
Yeah. Well, as for me, I just choose to keep creating the future that I want to live in.
Me too. And when enough of us build the demonstration that it can be done, knowing structure, helping others build the structure, helping others live their structure, that's when all that other shit falls apart. So
Yeah. Yeah.
that is why those that have succeeded with money will be the last to come, and will be the last and the hardest to fall.
Yeah. Yeah.
How do you get that? You get the masses. You get the masses creating what they want, what they love.
That's the coolest thing about the last 140 days, is that we know we can do it.
Isn't that the truth? That we proved it, that it, when we come together, it can be done. And the recode's a powerful start to it. It's just not everything. It's just a tool.
Yeah, it's just a tool. It's another clearing mechanism.
Letting go.
Yeah.
Fastest way too. But man, once you get to a certain level, it doesn't work anymore.
Yeah, you
Usefulness.
notice that too, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
And I think, and that's where I think everyone sees a version of that, says there's just something not right with it, which I didn't see either until I got into it, but.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, better yet, I knew that was always in the background. I just couldn't put a finger on it. But, when you understand structure, then you see it.
Yep. Yep.
And then you just know then there's a deeper level to work through.
Yeah. 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 Things are a little different when you go deep. But that's a good start for a lot of people.
Hmm. Oh, without a doubt. Without a doubt. I do love it's just how much of the awareness of what? Now that we've worked this, Craig, for 140 days, actually, it only says today's 139. So
Okay.
I
Well, that's
don't know
even
how.
better.
Yeah, right.
That's a magic number.
Yeah, 139 today. Every Sunday. Yeah, Sundays.
Yeah.
I don't know if do you count the first day as one, or is the is day on to day two number one? I don't know. I don't know how we count it yet.
Whatever.
Exactly. I still sit with equal. I love equal.
Yeah.
What could be improved with equal? What could be improved as if one of three steps of aware? Even back up is aware a good starting position. I back up even one more and say, oh, the structure of it all. The structure of our 139 days. What could I back up even farther than that? Zoom out, as a good friend of mine would say.
Yeah.
I don't get anything behind the structure. Well, life, I get to life. Structures, the life of structures, life structure there. equally unique.
Unity and diversity.
Mm. Unified diversity, huh?
Yeah. Yeah. To a lot of people, that doesn't seem possible right now.
Mhm. Which is good, because that creates a certain tension of people say, oh, I can't have that. They
Exactly.
resist it. And that resistance is good. We want to speak what people want so that it brings forth why they can't have it. And then that resistance has to be reviewed, has to be put aware on, and that's how it is let go of. That's the shortcut of the recode.
Yeah.
The already existing resistance that's there. Future memories, right?
Yes.
Same thing. People only recognize or organize that memories take place in the past.
Yeah.
When you
Yeah.
say, what is your future memory? It's like, do you see our mind circuits kind of go haywire?
Yeah. Yeah.
Our patterns go haywire. And those are the things that we bring forth for people.
Here's another thing that came to me just, was it yesterday or the day before? It's like everybody's doing these past life regressions, right? But nobody's talking about using the same
Yeah.
techniques to do future life progressions.
Yes. Oh, what a great concept, huh?
And that's what I just realized, that I already know how to do that.
Mm-hmm. It's the same way as we go backwards.
It's
we just
prophetic
focus it.
intuition, right?
Yeah. Yeah. You bet. And they call it future pacing. Is that what they call it too? Is that a term I've heard around it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, we love to go digging for it though, don't we?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's really a form of time travel, if you want to get technical.
Mhm.
I mean, some of us, if we're old souls and we've reincarnated a number of times and all that kind of stuff, who says that some of us have not lived on Earth in future years and came back to this time in order to bring it to pass?
Mhm. Now it comes down to the question, well, I wonder what could be possible.
Well, yeah, exactly.
Because if my fixed perception of time only goes one direction, then that wouldn't be possible. And anyone says that that's not possible, well, it's not open, and
Mhm.
it won't be. It won't be possible. You know?
Well, it won't be for them anyway.
Mhm. And more than likely, be judged for even saying it. Yeah,
Yeah,
because
Yeah,
it's a different perspective. It's a diverse perspective, and oh, then I'm threatened. I'm scared. And judger, man, that judger. Ugh.
yeah.
The judger is the source of so much.
The resistance is always in the self-consciousness.
The ego.
Yep.
Yeah. Are you creating or in your ego jail?
Well, that's where all our training is too. We're trained to have that part of us in control of everything as the decision maker.
Yeah.
You know, that's the problem that I have with true choice. Or with you know, the whole doctrine of, you know, choose your life, is because if still, okay, you are the chooser, you do have the choice, but if it's your self-consciousness that's choosing your future, then how helpful is that? It'll destroy you. Even if you are consciously choosing.
Yeah, it's patterns, man. It's all about those aware of the patterns, right?
Mhm. Yep. Yep. Just because it's a conscious choice doesn't make it a useful or a beneficial one.
You know, it seems to be always the experience, because if we're out of alignment, we know, and then we work to be back in alignment. And it's not like we're always aligned. It's just a degree.
Yeah. That's why it was important for me to find a choice that was true to me. True to my higher self.
And I think that is like how I've learned it, is like, that's why, yes, that's a true choice. And then there's subsequent choices, right? That can be like, how do I know I would have that? What would be in the mid, like what's going to get there? And in that emotion of the end results becomes the more tactical stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
I forget the word, but it's not, true choice. It's the other one.
Yeah. Yeah.
I forgot the word, but
Yeah. I'm really not liking the wording of the predominant creator choice.
no, I never did like it either.
Yeah. It's very self-oriented. And the word force is in there. shows up in there sometimes, and the word dominant shows up in there too. Which is, both of those are, they're not open words.
Yeah. I settled with powerful creator. It was what I could
Yeah.
settle into, because
Yeah.
and really I love peacefully powerfully peaceful creator, a peaceful, powerful, peaceful creator, something along those lines.
Yeah, both sides of intensity.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I like that too.
And I just like it because I know that people resist powerful,
Mhm.
and I like to bring up words that would trigger resistance. That's just what I
Mhm.
like. I have fun with it.
Yeah, oh, of course.
And then people do it to me too, and and I don't have fun with that. Not all the time, but my lessons, yeah. That's where it's like we're equally powerful creators.
Well, and we
Where-
can change behaviors for a certain amount of time. But if the underlying pattern is there and it's never addressed, that behavior ain't gonna stick.
It'll always fall back for sure.
Yep.
And I mean, which is fine, right? I mean, that's how we change. That's how we improve. That's how it gets better.
But even using words like improve and better
Mm-hmm.
starting to really bug me.
Yeah, I'm with you. Tell me why.
Because it makes an assumption that there is such a thing.
That's right.
Okay. I don't like the word improve because it's built around the word proof.
Mm.
And the thing is, one of the things I've learned from the last 139 days is that we have proved a lot of things to ourselves, but the proof is unconventional.
Mm-hmm.
It's intangible.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the proof has shown up in knowing. It hasn't shown up in in evidence, so to speak.
What's awesome is that it's showing up in the every day that's recorded.
Right, exactly.
But not until you get to the proof that people would be like, oh, let's see what that is. Right? Does it matter?
Right.
The other reason I don't like them, and I loved, thank you for adding the proof to improve.
Yeah.
Is that it says then there's something like it says the now isn't good enough.
Right.
It's just that's the
Right.
hidden instructions underneath of it.
That's the implication of it. Yeah.
So I'm with you when I do that, and that's why I love different But again, you can just see that it's a pattern, and the only reason for life is for what tomorrow brings, or what the next moment brings. Better yet, it's what is just right here in the moment.
Yeah.
And that is the hardest lesson, I think, to understand for us, for humans, that all we have is right now.
Yeah.
And that means whatever's in front of me, whatever is around me, whatever comes into my awareness is what is worth putting the attention, the focus on, as a
Yeah.
powerful creator together.
Yeah. And that doing what you and I are doing right now is extremely powerful and productive.
Even though we may not know all the way how or what to do with it yet. Yeah,
Yeah.
but without a doubt, we're gathering, and people want to gather, people want to belong, people want to express. And there's no better place than to do it with others, where we are not judged, right? Where we can be uniquely, equally powerful. Creators.
Yeah. And have more than a wish or a prayer.
Yeah.
You know, a wish looks forward, a prayer looks back.
Yeah.
And neither one of them are particularly valuable.
Yep. I'm with you. I asked a question yesterday. It's like, what's the difference? So what's the difference between I want, I hope, and I need compared to I choose? What's the difference? What's the difference? And it was obvious. The question back, or the answer back, was, oh, you're right. I can choose every moment. It's like, yes. And you can want, need, and hope every moment. I can only use the words that you spoke to me, and you did not tell me you choose. You told me I want, need, and hope for this.
Yeah.
I'm saying your structure's off by doing that. So if you start practicing I choose, that's going to change everything in your life. Or even I could choose, right? Start with that one. I could, rather than I want, need, and hope. It's like, I could. Yes, do that one. That's why I love the words, because the words, out of all the words, we chose to use those.
Yeah. Choosing is a form of doing.
Mm-hmm. And being, I think it's being too.
Yeah. It's important to make the choice first.
Yeah. And I think, like, it brings brings it right to the moment of now, because it's like, oh yeah, I could. Right here, it just brings the attention on it right to now. And I think the more structure that we can bring to the attention of the moment, or demonstration, or experience to right now, And then what you do is like, it's so here's now is the truth, best I can hold it. Here's the truth. And then compare it to something, because that is the piece that we forget,
Yeah.
that we are being, doing, having right now. That is one piece of the structure. That is the starting piece of structure. That is the truth of our structure. And then where our focus or attention or our orientation goes is either to the next moment or to the past moment. That becomes the second point. And now we have a structure. Because a structure is two or more points. It's just how I've been listening.
Mhm.
Listening to myself, listening to others. And so, of course, as I put attention and focus on it, it will produce what I see.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. It's hard to believe it's that simple, but yeah.
Easy, simple, and silly.
Yeah. It's totally absurd.
And
That's
you
why it's
want
so
to,
important
and you
to
want to
not-
charge for that. Yeah. Charge
Yeah.
money for that.
Yeah.
Sorry. And that's why it was so important for,
That's why it's so important to keep your brain out of it.
yeah. Yes. And why is that?
Because your brain is temporal.
Yeah. And what does temporal mean then?
Temporary.
Uh-huh. Another one I work with the brain, my brain can only look backwards and only can bring from what it knows forward. That's all it can do.
Yeah. Yeah.
So in all reality, it can only bring the past forward.
Yeah.
Because it only relates to what it knows. It doesn't feel something different or new.
No.
It really can't, by itself, it can't create the future. It needs an emotion to create the future.
Yeah. Yeah.
There you go. That's huge right there, which is what the unconscious does. The unconscious provides that, the tape player. Well, so my coffee trick is I only put a warm splash in it and then it gets cold really quick. So that's why I'm always filling up my coffee cup.
No. You out in the porch this morning?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty well every morning.
Yeah.
It's a little clear and it's supposed to be a little cooler this morning than normal, but so I brought the heater out, heating pad and blankets. Watching the sun come up, listening to the birds this morning.
Mhm. So do you miss the thaw and freeze cycle in Montana in March?
God, I don't miss any of the cycles.
No, I don't either. It's,
We
Yeah,
go back for the summer cycle.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, me too. It's funny, the last time I was there, last time I was in Canada was the end of September of 2019. And I was in Calgary and they had 2 feet of snow. Wild.
Yeah, when I learned I could drive the snow and then drive out of it, I pretty well followed that pattern.
Yeah.
Yeah, that white stuff, I do not miss it one bit. Ugh.
Yeah.
Yeah, we go up for the summertime, end of July, first part of August, so that we can
Oh yeah.
play on the lake is all we go do.
Yeah. Which lake? Flathead?
Yeah, usually Echo. We go to Echo Lake, which is
Echo. Okay. Yeah.
smaller
Awesome.
lake there. It's a whole lot warmer.
Yeah. Yeah. Because it's smaller.
Yeah, and it's natural. It's fed by natural springs, so yeah. So it's good for the kids like to tube and swim, and my kids are California kids, so that cold water they hate it.
Yeah. Yeah. They've never mogul skied with water skis, hey? Where you're dodging ice chunks.
Yeah.
I have.
I have too. That was our thing. At Memorial Day, we'd go up to Holland Lake, which the ice had just come off of. Jesus.
Yeah.
And I'd water. You knew summer started because I'd have to water ski. I was like, I'm going to start on a tube, one of those big tractor tubes, and I'm going to land on that tube so I don't get cold. I don't get wet. Then the boat dies. Just as you're taking off the boat. Get me out of here.
I know when I tell stories like that, nobody believes me. But they've obviously never taken an auger.
Oh God. Yeah, no, I haven't done
lake.
that. I've never had to ski with the ice cubes around there, but I never went that early.
Yeah.
But I know it should have been. It was a dang that cold. Oof.
Yeah.
Dodging ice, huh?
Yep. Yeah. Good times.
I can see you're probably a good skier, huh?
Yeah, not too bad.
They taught us. They grew up on that, and they played on the water a lot.
Best mountain snow skiing I've ever done? California.
Mm-hmm.
You ever heard of Shaver Lake?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I was up there Thanksgiving 1994, and there was powder up to your armpits.
Yeah, Sierra Summit they called it.
The whole hill. Yeah, that's it. Sierra Summit. That's it.
Yep, been there a lot.
But I was up there, and yeah, there was nobody on the mountain that day.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like I got probably 25 runs in before lunch.
Yeah, so those are the best.
And it was virgin powder, every single one of them.
Everyone.
It was
I love
unbelievable.
I went it wasn't my best day. It was actually the worst day, but I think they'd gotten at Lost Trail over south of Missoula. We bolted over there one day. They opened with 5 feet of powder.
Mm-hmm.
And I had a long board. I had my big snowboard. I was a boarder. And so I had a real long board. And it was so miserable because the only thing I could do was lean all the way back on it and go down the hill
Right.
like this. It was just, there was no turns in it at all. It was just straight down. Like I was like, oh my God, that just tore out my back leg, you know?
Oh yeah. Yeah. That'd
It's
be
like, that
brutal.
was too much snow. That was too much snow. There is such a thing.
Yes. Yeah. Believe it or not.
But man, oh, I love nothing better than fresh powder running through the trees.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Believe it or not, I've never tried snowboarding.
Mm. Guy, I was in Butte, and he was 55, and he just picked it up, and he taught me, and oh man, loved it. I didn't
Wow.
like skiing. I didn't like skiing very much. I just didn't get into it. But snowboarding, it was like, oh yeah, that was mine. I could do that.
Well, I grew up in Saskatchewan where it's flat, flat, flat.
Mm.
Although we did have a ski club because the town I grew up in had a river that ran on one side of it, and there was some pretty good drop there. So you could